All right, so sleep, huh? Everyone sleeps, or at least everyone's supposed to. But what's really going on when we drift off? We're ditching the usual sleep advice and taking a deep dive into the science of those Z's.
Exactly. We're talking about the fascinating world of sleep cycles, the impact on your brain and body, and why understanding this nightly symphony is crucial for your health and performance.
Okay, love that nightly symphony, not just passing out on the couch. So, no more vague advice about warm milk and counting sheep. Let's get into the science behind it all. First up, sleep cycles. What's the real deal? Most people think sleep is just one long unconscious state, right?
You'd be surprised how many people think it's just on or off when it comes to sleep. But it's actually much more dynamic than that. We go through distinct stages of sleep, each with its own purpose. It's like imagine climbing a mountain.
Okay, I'm picturing the sleep mountain. I like it. So I'm guessing each stage of sleep is like a base camp along the way.
Yeah, exactly. You start with stage one, which is like dipping your toes in the water light sleep.
Yeah.
Your muscle activity starts to slow down. You might feel those little twitches, and your brain waves begin to slow down a bit.
So easing into it, what's next on our sleep climb?
Next, you move into stage two, a deeper sleep.
Hmm.
Here's where things like your heart rate and breathing start to regulate. Your body temperature drops a little.
Okay, sounds pretty chill so far. When do we hit the peak of this sleep mountain? That deep, restful sleep everyone's after.
That's stage three deep sleep. And this is where the real magic happens. Think muscle repair, tissue growth, immune system getting a boost. It's like a nightly tune-up for your entire body.
Wow, so deep sleep really is beauty sleep, inside and out. But we can't forget about dreams, right?
Hmm.
Where do those fit into our sleep mountain climb?
Ah, yes, dreams. The main event for a lot of people. So as you start coming back down the mountain, you hit REM sleep rapid eye movement. And that's where dreams take center stage. But it's not just about those bizarre scenarios you sometimes wake up remembering.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could just go back to sleep and forget those. So it's more than just wacky dreams.
Right. During REM sleep, your brain is hard at work. It's busy processing emotions, consolidating memories, making sense of everything that happened during the day. Think of it like overnight therapy for your mind.
Okay, I'm definitely seeing the value in REM sleep now. It's like our brains are having a whole adventure while our bodies are getting much needed rest.
Exactly. And like any good adventure, there are consequences if you don't come prepared. We've talked about the good stuff, all those benefits of sleep. But what happens when we don't get enough? What are the consequences of skimping on those Z's?
Yeah, I think we've all felt that running on fumes feeling after a few rough nights. But what's actually happening in our bodies when we're sleep deprived?
Well, remember how we talked about deep sleep being like a nightly tune-up for your body? Imagine you just skip that tune-up night after night. Things start to break down, performance suffers, and your engine light, in this case, your exhaustion, starts flashing.
Okay, I can definitely relate to that feeling. But what are we talking about specifically? What are some of the big health risks linked to not getting enough sleep?
One of the major ones is weight. There's a lot of research that's found a strong connection between not getting enough sleep regularly, chronic sleep deprivation they call it, and gaining weight. It really comes down to your hormones. When you're sleep deprived, your body starts producing more ghrelin. That's the hormone that basically tells you, hey, I'm hungry.
Mhm.
And at the same time, you're producing less leptin, which is the hormone that signals you're full.
Oh, wow. So it's like fighting a losing battle against those late night cravings.
Pretty much, your body's working against you. And it gets worse, unfortunately. Not getting enough sleep can also mess with how your body regulates blood sugar. That can increase your risk of becoming insulin resistant, which can lead to type 2 diabetes.
So not only am I more likely to grab that bag of chips at midnight, but my body's not going to process it as well either.
Unfortunately, yeah. And if we really want to go down the rabbit hole, studies have also linked chronic sleep deprivation to some scary stuff. A higher risk of heart disease, even stroke, and some types of cancer. It weakens your immune system, so you're more likely to get sick.
Okay, you're making me want to put down these potato chips right now.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that sleep isn't just this luxury. It's fundamental to a healthy lifestyle, just like what you eat and if you exercise.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important point. But let's be honest, life gets busy, and sometimes sleep is the first thing we sacrifice. So what can we do? What are some practical tips to actually improve our sleep hygiene? I'm talking things we can actually do starting tonight.
The good news is there are a lot of small changes you can make that can make a huge difference. One of the most effective is being consistent about when you sleep. Try going to bed and waking up around the same time each day, even on the weekends. That helps to regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Okay, so no more sleeping in on Saturdays, even if my body's begging for it.
It's tough. But yeah, try to stick to that schedule as much as you can. Consistency is key when it comes to training your internal clock. It's like, going to the gym.
Hmm.
You wouldn't go just once a week and expect to see amazing results, right?
Good point. Consistency is key. What about our environment? What can we do to make sure our bedroom is really helping us sleep?
Oh, yeah. Your environment is huge. Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. Invest in some blackout curtains, maybe earplugs, or a white noise machine if you need to block out sound. Those can all make a difference.
Makes sense. What about screens? We're all glued to them these days. I've heard those can really mess with sleep.
They absolutely can. See that blue light that's emitted from phones, laptops, tablets? It actually suppresses your melatonin production.
Mm.
And melatonin's that hormone that signals to your brain that it's time to sleep.
Okay, so blue light is the enemy. What's the best way to combat that?
Ideally, try to aim for at least an hour of screen-free time before bed. But let's be real. Sometimes you need to use your phone or computer. If that's the case, try blue light blocking glasses, or even just activate the night mode setting on your phone. That helps filter out some of that blue light.
That's good to know. I'm definitely guilty of scrolling through social media in bed. Maybe I'll try reading a book instead.
There you go. That's a great idea. Reading before bed is a really nice way to wind down. It signals to your brain that it's time to sleep.
Okay, so we've got a consistent sleep schedule, ditching the screens, creating a relaxing bedtime routine. What about what we eat? Does that affect our sleep too?
It totally does. It can make a big difference. Try to avoid eating big meals, drinking caffeine, or having alcohol too close to bedtime. All of those things can interrupt your sleep cycle and make it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So no more late night pizza feasts.
Probably best to save those for earlier in the day.
Good to know. We've talked a lot about sleep hygiene and things we can do to improve our sleep, but what about the big question? How much sleep do we actually need? Is there like a magic number? So how much sleep should we be getting every night? Is there some magic number for everyone?
Well, there isn't one magic number that works for absolutely everyone, but there is a general range that's a good starting point for most adults. Research suggests aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night.
Okay, got it. So a solid night's sleep is important, but how do we know if we're actually getting enough? I mean, some people seem to function on less sleep than others, right?
It really comes down to listening to your body and how you feel. Ask yourself, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Are you hitting that snooze button multiple times? Do you find yourself relying on caffeine all day just to power through? Those are pretty telltale signs that you might need to be getting a few more hours of sleep each night.
So our bodies kind of have a built-in sleep tracker. We just have to pay attention to what it's telling us. Now, we've talked about how sleep impacts our physical health, but what about our mental game? Does getting a good night's rest make us sharper mentally?
100%. It's not just about feeling less groggy. Studies have shown time and time again that getting enough sleep can majorly impact things like your cognitive function, your memory, even your creativity.
So that whole brain fog feeling after a bad night's sleep is a real thing. My brain really isn't working as well.
You got it. When you're sleep deprived, it can slow down your reaction time, make it tough to focus, and even mess with your ability to make decisions effectively. But on the other hand, when you're well rested, it's like your brain's had a chance to declutter and reorganize overnight. You're able to think more clearly, process information better, and come up with those creative solutions more easily.
It's like giving your brain an overnight upgrade. No wonder people tell you to sleep on it when you've got a tough decision to make.
Exactly. Your brain just works better after a good night's sleep. It can process information and make connections more effectively. And it's not just about mental performance either. Believe it or not, there's a fascinating link between sleep and how well you perform athletically too.
Really? I've never thought about that connection before. Tell me more.
Well, studies have been done on athletes, and those who made sleep a priority, they tended to have faster reaction times, better accuracy, and even improved endurance. Plus, they recovered from injuries more quickly.
Wow, so sleep is like a secret weapon for athletes who want to be at the top of their game?
You could say that it's like a natural performance enhancer, but without the negative side effects.
Mm.
And honestly, it's not just athletes. Whether you're a musician, a writer, or just trying to get through a busy workday, getting enough sleep can make a huge difference in how well you perform.
This whole conversation has been a real eye-opener, I have to say. We really do underestimate how important sleep is for our overall well-being. It goes way beyond just feeling rested. It's about really optimizing every part of our lives.
It's about time we stop glorifying that I'll sleep when I'm dead. mentality. It's so important to start recognizing sleep as a fundamental part of health and performance, right up there with diet and exercise.
I couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you really hope listeners take away from this deep dive into the science of sleep?
That sleep is an investment in your health, your well-being, your relationships, everything. It's time we all started prioritizing it.
Well said. So next time you're tempted to sacrifice sleep for work or for Netflix or just for endlessly scrolling on your phone, remember this conversation. Your brain and body will definitely thank you. Sweet dreams, everyone.